two specific episodes or cultural events in Bharat were used significantly to generate contributions from England for missionary activity in this country. One is the Jagannath Rath Yatra, and the second is Sati. There's a missionary who goes by the name Claudius Buchanan, who features significantly in the discussions surrounding the need for more establishment support for missionary activity in this country. And that discussion happens around the 1919 Government of India Act. And by the time it came to 1857, the missionaries sensed a fantastic opportunity to take away the reins of power from the company so that the crown, which was effectively seen as the protector of Christendom, insofar as UK is concerned, is given greater responsibility and greater say over the affairs of Bharat. If you read the literature around this period and the pamphlets that were circulated by missionaries in their country as well as within their own societies in this country, they decided to latch on to two specific cultural events. One is negative and the other is positive, but both were projected in negative light to get missionary contributions or financial contributions. The word juggernaut, which effectively comes from the Jagannath Yatra, which is common knowledge, was coined by Claudius Buchanan. And he said that this is such a dark religion that during this Rath Yatra, people throw themselves under the wheel and die. And therefore, these people need to be saved from their own religion. That started the never-ending project of reforming the Hindu faith. Along with this, Sati was also projected. Now, Ms. Meenakshi Jain or Dr. Meenakshi Jain, in her book on Sati, tries to address the question from an empirical perspective to say, how many parts of this country and in how many instances can you actually cite of Sati happening at such a rampant scale for it to come to represent this particular culture. Now, the demonization of Sanatana Dharma and the Hindu society citing Sati, if you want an indication of it, I will give you an international instrument which I have cited in the book, wherein of all the abhorrent practices which inflict injury upon human dignity, guess which practice was cited as one of them? Sati. So the only thing that you seem to think or you can conceive of when it comes to the society are untouchability, Sati, dowry and Jagannath Yatra. Now that answers one part of the question. Now, do I agree with Sati? No, I don't. I am saying that you have chosen a handful of instances to paint an entire society. We are being told that generalization of any particular community citing the conduct of a particular handful amounts to stereotyping. I am asking, is it fair for you to do this with us? That's one. Second, as far as Parda is concerned, should it continue today? Assuming that circumstances have not changed between medieval Bharat and today, I would say it has no reason to change. But unfortunately, I don't think the situation has changed across the country. I am saying that the medieval mindset continues to exist in certain parts of the country. I am making that statement. And therefore, in those instances, when people do something to protect themselves, I would say I'm in no position to judge them and their circumstances. In the princely state of Hyderabad, the supposed richest princely state and perhaps the largest, the ruler's entourage would willy-nilly pick up women from other communities. I should know this, I come from that state. We have experienced it. At least our previous generations have experienced it. The non-majority population or the non-ruling population, although the majority population, was treated as a hostage population. And you should ask yourself how that population was used to negotiate with the Indian Union around the period of Operation Polo. Correct. In light of this, it's convenient to start with the presumption that this is a fundamentally backward society without giving it some slack and cutting it some slack in terms of the brutal, ruthless, savage experience that it has been put through, at the very least since the 10th century or the 11th century. And which is I would say, which has gone on and on and on. It's one thing to ask whether some of these practices merit existence today, but it's another thing to question why did they start in the first place? I mean, people were not idiots to jump into the fire, right? Something must have triggered it. So I would say, perhaps avoid the lazy presumption and conclusion that this is a feature of an inherently regressive society. So I believe that a lot of things that we are fed and which we spew hasn't been examined with the rigor that it merits.